If you could give me a level check, that would be great.
I am Chloe Dygert. I'm a cyclist, and I just won bronze in the time trial.
Chloe, it's gonna be nice and easy, so don't worry.
Perfect.
I'm Elizabeth Beisel, two-time Olympic medalist, and I'm jumping the press ropes to take you inside the Olympic Village, some of the most interesting and exclusive places of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. We'll talk to the athletes about pretty much anything and everything other than winning medals. The quirky little details of daily Olympic life that only the athletes themselves know about, because it isn't all nail-biting pressure and medal ceremonies.
You can hear us in the headphones, okay?
Hi. Oh, I love your hair.
We'll get started in 3, 2, 1.
iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the only way to listen to exclusive NBC play-by-play action of the Games, plus NBC's top Olympic moments and live hourly updates from Paris. Bring the Summer Games with you everywhere you go. Download the free iHeart app now and enable push notifications for live updates from Paris. So, first of all, congratulations. That is so awesome, winning an Olympic medal. You're traveling with a bike, and it's not just any bike, it's a time trial bike. So how is that different than like my bike at home that probably a lot of normal people ride?
Yeah, a time trial bike to travel with, or just in general, just having a time trial bike?
Both.
Both?
Let's do both.
Okay. Well, see, having a time trial bike means that you have a full disc wheel in the back, and then you have an 808 or a really deep dish wheel in the front, and then you have the extension skis on your bars, and then your frame is really aero. So when you see a time trial bike, you'll know, oh wow, that bike is really fancy. That's probably the first thought that will come to your head. And to travel with a time trial bike compared to a regular bike, you have to take the extensions off, then you have to wrap it so much with bubble wrap and carry it like a little baby and put it in such a nice box and take care of the wheels. And airlines are not bike friendly, so it's like almost $200 every time you try to fly a bike. But sometimes you can, I don't do this, but I sometimes will just put it as an oversized bag and tell them that I already paid.
Who's gonna know? How are they gonna know? So what happens to it if it gets damaged in transit? Is there some type of insurance that you have to have?
It is such a pain in the butt, to be honest, if there's anything that goes wrong while it's in the airline. I've had a bike break once, and I had to send in insurance, and at the end of the day, it took so long, and it was just so time-consuming. We ended up not following through because the airline just was not complying with helping us get it all done. So it is a bummer, I mean, there are obviously times that they just do not care, and obviously you've seen, I'm sure, videos on Instagram of the people just throwing bags on top of everything and just really not being gentle. Bikes really are, I mean, they're made to upstand a lot, but they still are fragile, so they have to be taken care of.
So when you're packing for the Olympics, you're the one that's packing your bike, right? Like not your mechanic or a mechanic that works with your team?
Sometimes the mechanic, so here in Europe I have like my team bikes. My team bikes were passed to my mechanics here from USA Cycling, but I did have bikes in America. So I was with my coach, Kristen Armstrong, and her husband actually helped me pack. So I carried over 2 time trial bikes and 1 suitcase to come here to Europe.
And then, of course, you went through all of the outfitting, and now you probably have like 3 more suitcases to bring home with you.
Exactly. But luckily, I have a base here in Belgium, so I'll just bring it over there and just like eventually trickle everything back home to America.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of mechanics, usually you have a pit team bus with you. What happens here at the Olympics? Are you working on your own bike? Do you have a crew working on it for you? What's that like here?
Yeah, so here at the Olympics, or anytime there's an event with USA Cycling, we have mechanics, we have soigneurs. And so yes, yesterday we had, the Olympics provided us with a tent, just like all the other countries, where we could warm up and have our little area to have our mechanics and bikes and everything set up for the race. So if a race is well organized. We have spots for mechanics and bikes and for us to be taken care of. And then, at races where buses and things are allowed, then we have organization for that accommodation as well.
Yeah, got it. It's so cool how much goes into just your sport. I'm a swimmer by trade, so like our tech is like, oh, we have a swimsuit, cap, and goggles. Like that's it. But for you guys, it's so much more. You even have a cycling computer, which is a screen on your handlebars with all of the information. What do you see on your Garmin? What do you see on that, especially for the people that like have no idea what even that is?
Yeah, so I use a Hammerhead, and on my Hammerhead, when I'm in Europe a lot, in America I can ride without maps, but when I'm in Europe I have to ride with maps so I don't get lost. So I have my maps, I have cadence, and I have power and time. And it's kind of a way to keep me in check, keep me disciplined, keep me structured while I ride. And the maps obviously keep me from making wrong turns.
I would need that so bad. I'm very like directionally challenged. So I need maps. Even I'm here in Paris as well. And I'm just like working the swimming and I've walked the same route like 5 times. I'm like, I still need maps.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so tough. So for you, every single watt counts when you're riding. So I would love to know what the fueling is like for these grueling races that you're going into, especially at the Olympics.
Fueling varies so much depending on the temperature, the weather, the type of race, the length of the race, how hard the race is going to be. Honestly, like as much as I hate to admit this, I'm probably not the best person to ask. I know there's a certain amount of carbohydrates that you want to try to get per hour, a certain amount of liquid and fluids and salt, but then there's also specific tests per person. I've actually done some testing to find out that like I do better with sugar more so than like carbs. So like, and people joke around about it, but like if I have crumble cookies or if I have cookies or sugar or something, I'm going to do better than if I were to not. So it's kind of a lucky situation for me. Everybody's different and everybody has to find what works for them and figure out the fueling strategy to make them the best.
Yeah, and I love what you said. Like, it's not that you're not the best to ask. That's just what works for you.
Right.
And that's okay. It's all personalized. Speaking about like kind of food, and we're in Paris, what is the relationship between like cycling and coffee? And have you found your fix here in Paris?
That's such a funny question because I feel like coffee is like the one necessity all cyclists cannot live without. And I do not drink coffee. I don't like coffee.
What?
I know. I am that one cyclist that like, I hate coffee stop rides. Like when we have a recovery day and everybody wants to stop on a coffee ride, I'm like, I don't want to stop. But yeah, so everybody loves coffee and I just like juice. So
when you go on these rides that are like a recovery ride and people stop for coffee, are you getting juice or like what's your order when everybody else is drinking coffee?
If I have no choice to stop, yes, I'll get juice. But otherwise, I'll just keep going and do my own thing.
So you're like, catch up with me later.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm out.
I will not be participating.
Yeah. Unless there's cookies.
That's amazing. So in this most recent race, obviously conditions weren't ideal. I want to talk about the helmet. Like, how does that fit into a suitcase? Can you tell us how that is kind of different to like a helmet that I would use, similar to what you did with your bike earlier?
Yeah, so the helmet, it depends on the manufacturer, but the helmets that we use, Giro, they come in little cases. And when I travel with my bike, I will put those helmets in my bike case. But then with a time trial helmet, it's a lot bigger. So obviously, if I do have to carry that, it's a lot bulkier and kind of a pain to carry around. So if I can, I'll try to throw it in my bike bag. But luckily, when we do go to races with the team, they have all of our equipment and helmets and everything there. But then a road helmet, a helmet that everybody would wear on a bike, that's a little bit easier. And generally, that can just fit in my backpack. And so if I do need to bring that, I'll bring my shoes and my helmet with me in my backpack.
Yeah. If you have a crash with a helmet, is it something that you can wear again? I'm sure it depends on the type of damage, but also is it something that you're like, oh, I crashed in this helmet, like I'm done with this helmet, like get it out of here?
The helmets are made very well now. There's a lot of safety protocols and like for it to even be passed to be able to be ridden, there's so many advantages and things now that they have made to be safe. But yeah, again, like I crashed yesterday, I did hit my head. The first thing we took the helmet off is look at the helmet. We checked to see if there was a crack. Again, we probably wouldn't ride the helmet just because there's a scuff on it. There was no crack, but anytime there is a crack, I mean, obviously the helmet's done, cannot ride it anymore. But yeah, no, helmets definitely, they save lives. And yeah, they make them so strong now and so well made to really make sure that, obviously yesterday when there was a crash, my head, I didn't get a concussion. And so I'm very thankful.
How are you feeling and recovering after that crash yesterday?
I think with the crash, the pain goes away from the injuries, but the pain of the metal, will stand with me. It is hard to be on that bottom step. Obviously we trained very hard to be on that top step, and so it's probably more difficult dealing with that than it is with the injuries.
I so appreciate you saying that, because I feel like two things can be the same at the same time, where like you have this Olympic medal, that's amazing, but you can also be disappointed. And that's like, I think that's what makes a great athlete, is just striving to always be the best. And of course you can be the best on any given day, but sometimes something like a crash happens and it's kind of out of your control, and it's just what it is. So, speaking about the medal, I know this is trivial, but do you know where you're going to keep it? Like, is it just like in your dorm right now, like chilling in the village? Like, do you have it on you right now?
I have it. Oh, it's right here.
Oh, you have it with you.
I have it with me right now. Yeah. But when I get home, they'll give me the little metal case and I'll put it in my gun safe and just keep it in there unless someone wants to see it, and I'll bring it out. But honestly, like we were talking about, I still got the medal, but even if I won, I would probably be the same way. I don't want to be satisfied with anything. Like, win or lose, I need to be better. I've won races before, but I can tell you every mistake I made in those races that I've won. If I win and I'm satisfied, how am I going to make myself better? So I'm constantly trying to be better. And again, even if I did take the top step yesterday, I would have figured out things that I would have done wrong and use that. And again, that's what keeps me hungry, keeps me motivated, and that's what keeps me going. And yeah, I'm gonna. Especially now not being on that top step, it's even more so.
What else about like the Olympic athlete life stands out to you that maybe somebody that has never been to the Olympics wouldn't know about? Like, is there anything that's caught you by surprise, is a little weird or off, just something behind the scenes?
I think when you see a special athlete like LeBron James or Simone Biles, I think everybody puts them on such a high pedestal. And of course, I do too. But again, when you do see them at the Olympics in the village, they are like everybody else. They are just as kind and appreciative and graceful, and they are welcoming. And of course, they do get bombarded, so I understand the please, just give me my space kind of thing. But at the end of the day, they are just like everybody else. And when we are all here, we are all the same. We are all Olympians, and we're. Yeah, it really is truly amazing to just be in the presence of everybody's greatness.
Yeah, it is cool. And you are all the same. Like, you're all on the United States Olympic team, and that's incredible. Chloe, congrats. You're going to use this fuel to move you forward in the sport, and we can't wait to hopefully see you in LA 2028.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chloe.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Follow the show on the iHeart app, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast platform. And watch and listen to every moment of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games from July 26th through August 11th on NBC and Peacock, and for the first time ever on the iHeart app.